my memory serves me, we had public comment regarding some cigarette butts that were found in the back playground outside. A parent went and picked them all up. There was some discussion about, how they're getting there. So that everybody understands, after that happened, I did contact Linda Mazaris, who's the property kind of manager for St. John Properties, let her know about the situation. She had asked me, if I knew where they were coming from. I went on the speculation that they were washing down when it rained heavy from the Utz parking lot area. The last that I heard, she was going to look into it, take care of it. So I don't know if there's been any other occurrences. We did ask Mr. Hand if he could check with Kevin, our custodian, to just kind of take a look-see out there every day and just look around and make sure it wasn't happening. So I didn't get any indication that it was continuing to happen. I don't know if anybody else has any information about that. But to my knowledge, it's been taken care of. If not, let us know. There was another comment made about our secretary in the front office, Chrissy. When she's not present, is there somebody there manning the front office for security reasons? And we were assured by Mrs. Cummins that Chrissy is in the front office throughout the day. Certainly she has to get up and leave for a moment here and there, whether it's to the restroom or to make copies or to do something outside of the office. However, people would need to be buzzed in if somebody was at the door, and the head of school, as well as Mr. Hand and the nurse in the health room, are all there in case the phone rings or somebody does need to be buzzed in, so they kind of are on alert. It's my understanding that she's not gone for more than a few minutes. It's not as though she leaves for lunch for 30 minutes and there's no one there. So if this continues to happen, just, again, just let our administration know, because obviously we do need to have somebody up there at all times, or at least, listening. So, again, that shouldn't be happening, but let administration know. Yeah, Mr. DeGrange?
So,
yeah.
people are scheduled up there the entire time. Again, if by chance you're at the door or you call and no one answers, it's because, number one, somebody's already on the phone. Number two, she had to leave for just a moment. When she just leaves for a moment, she does not turn over the iPad to let people in. When she leaves for longer than that, she gives the iPad. I had last week one afternoon for a period of time in case somebody came. So
Okay. And
we're
no
very
one can
conscious of that.
access
So
the building. No one can access the building without you
No.
letting them in. So it's not like people are just going to come wandering in and standing around, right?
yeah. So I can assure everybody that somebody's scheduled there the entire time.
And I came in and Mrs. Bertha was there when she was at lunch. I was picking up and she was sitting at the desk.
Okay.
Answering phones.
Okay, yeah. I think we have a handle on that, but, obviously, if people notice it, bring it up to Mr. DeGrange's,
Please.
attention. All right, I think that was about it with public comment from last time. Okay, do we have any public comment for this meeting? No? Nobody? Okay, so I guess what we need to do is approve this agenda as it stands. Would anybody want to make a motion to approve this agenda? Okay. Okay. Agenda has been approved. Oh, all in favor, sorry. All in favor? Everybody? Okay. Anyone opposed? No. Okay. Still getting used to this. Okay, so the next item on our agenda is the introduction of Mr. DeGrange with comments from Mr. DeGrange. He is our acting head of school in Mrs. Cummins' absence.
Yes.
In case anyone did not know.
Again, I'm Jerry DeGrange, and the acting head of school, acting principal. I have to say it's a real pleasure being back. Some of you may recognize me from when I was here 2 years ago. 2 years ago, was helping out for a while. It's wonderful to see the kids grow up, to see where they are now compared to where they were. It's wonderful to see the improvements that the school has made. When you first bring a group of students together, when you first bring a group of teachers together, it's awfully hard to meld those. The example I give is, you know, you have people from maybe 15 different schools, and there are 15 different ways of doing the same thing and doing it well. We'll come to consensus about how we're going to do it here and what we're about, and you know, there are a lot of conflicting views all the way through, but it's wonderful to see how well they've meshed and how nicely things are going, and again, just the maturity of the kids and how much better they are doing, and they know the rules and expectations and that sort of thing. Can we be consistent? We always say yes to that, and that's what we continue to work on, but it's a real pleasure seeing the growth, not only of the kids, but of the staff, so appreciate being here. The folks that have already talked with me, they know that I'm very open to ideas. Please don't mistake that I'm open to ideas that we're going to be able to do everything, you know, because it's impossible to do everything and do it well. We want to, what we decide to do, what the Board of Trustees decides to do, we're going to do our best to do very well. I'm also trying my hardest to keep Erica abreast. It's not my school. It's your old school. It's the Board of Trustees, it's Erica's, and so I'm sending a lot of things to her to get her feedback on. So, you know, even what Lancy sent out today, I immediately forwarded to Erica about some upcoming things. Wanted to make sure that she was comfortable with what was being proposed, and I do that a lot of days. So while Erica's at home on bed rest, she's not resting. You know, she's still a part of the school, still giving opinions and helping out and making sure that I guide this school the way that she would have, the way the Board of Trustees wants. You know, unfortunately, I'm going to be gone in a couple of months, you know, and she's going to be the one that has to follow through on the thing. So I want to make sure that we get feedback from a lot of the stakeholders. Sometimes it's impossible to get it from everyone, you know, because there's so many conflicting opinions, but we'll do our best to come to a consensus about the direction we're going on a lot of various kinds of things. You know, if you're unfamiliar with me, I was in the Frederick County Public School System for 40 years. I was 28 years as an elementary principal, so there are not many new things that occur. It's working through those things when they do happen and how we come together on what we're going to do and how we're going to do it is the important part. Are there any questions?
Well, we're glad to have you.
Well, thank you.
Okay, so next item is the introduction of a new board member, Board of Trustees member, Mr. Paul Ormsby. You want to say a few words about your background or your reason for joining the board? Or am I putting you on the spot?
Yes. My name is Paul Ormsby. I decided to join this board because I have a vested interest in here. My 3 children are here. My wife is here a lot too, so might as well be here myself. No, also, I believe in education. I've been in education for 20 years. I'm at Montgomery County Public Schools. Been there for 20 years. And in dealing with education, you realize there are a lot of challenges daily in education. And I want to be a part of creating solutions in those challenges and creating pathways to make education work for every child. And in doing that, one of the ways I saw that was available to me was joining this board. In addition to that, I think we have a good thing here. We have a really, really great product here, and I want to just make it the best it can be. I want to take it to the next level, and I think we're at that point where I think with anything, whether you're an athlete or you're starting a business, the first 2 or 3 years, we're at that bubble point where it's going to either expand or it's going to contract. And I think we're contracted to the point where we kind of know, we have a sense of who we are, where we are. And I want to be at that point where we start to expand and get bigger and create that forward motion. So I thought this would be a great opportunity for me to jump in and roll my sleeves up and get involved. I'm not here to sit in meetings and talk a lot. I'm here to do whatever work needs to get done or to make it happen in some way, shape, or form. So that's kind of what I'm about. And as I said, my kids are here, my wife is here, so I'm here.
It's great having you. Thank you, Paul. Okay, great things happening at FCCS. Now, I hope everybody has a list of the great things happening. I came up with a few myself, but before I keep talking, is there anything that anyone on the board wants to discuss about what they see that's great happening and they want to share that?
Well, I can say the 7th grade classes, in science class, they made paper. They had a family member, older sister came in for the day, and she talked about the paper making process and what recycling is. The whole 9 yards, she did a really nice job. And Kelly had helped with these homemade paper.
Really?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. They really enjoyed, very hands-on, very,
Was that like in the science class?
it was in science.
Okay.
Yeah, Dr. Harmon. So it was
Oh, nice.
And it was the Foster family, and it was Madeline, there was sister, but Samantha Foster is a student here.
Great.
That was kind of cool.
It was cool. I think we all got the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so was the 7th grade. Like the paper I made today.
Well, that's cool. Okay. Go ahead.
Now, I was going to just comment, I think our music program is taking off, it's going to a whole nother level, and I think that's extremely important and crucial in, to have a balanced educational experience for our kids, that, music and arts and drama and theater, those things are really great balances to just academics. That's one thing. I think we're doing much better as a board or a leadership unit in communicating with staff and parents. You're right, I think we need to do something to get more people out here.
We do, right?
But,
If you have any ideas, let me know.
yeah,
Okay.
but I think we're, as I said, I think we're at that pivotal point where we're getting some traction. We're learning how to be who we are. We're learning what we really are. And what is significant about that is that when you understand who you are, you can then understand where you can go. And I think we're learning who we are, and when we really get that solidified, then I think our direction's going to be clear where we can go, because we know who we are and what we are right now. That's great.
Can I just add something? Especially with the amazing music program, one opportunity that we have for parents is to actually weigh in and provide volunteer support to that. And today, electronically, I put together on Volunteer Spot some opportunities that we'll be sharing by link, and it'll be in the Thursday communication. But there's a lot of volunteer opportunities available. You can go to the website and go to volunteers. The band is supported, the trunk or treat. I saw Nancy just walk in. That opportunity is being supported. So you can very easily, quickly sign up. It's an electronic venue, and it'll even remind you. So
Well,
there's
on
a
our
lot of
website,
stuff going
just
on.
remind everybody where to find the volunteers. Is there a link that says volunteer opportunities?
It links from the newsletter, but also if you went online and you went into committees, a volunteer committee is there, and you
Okay.
just click on that, you go straight there, and each and every sign up is on there. There's one for Race for Education as well to help out with that. So there's just, they're out there.
It's really never been easier to be able to look in to see where there's a need and to meet that need. So that's largely because of Allison Rizzo and the Communications Committee,
Yes.
but also because, you picked up where Shelley left off with volunteering, being the committee chair for that. And I know Shelley still helps you with that. So that is great.
Yeah, so we just need folks to commit. So every
Yes.
time somebody says, I don't know how to help, well, yeah, just go there. There's a lot of ways to help. And grandparents can volunteer, community members, we need to vet them a little bit, but I definitely bring them there, and if, any questions, volunteer for the classical charter.
Yeah, I wanted to just expand on the band comments that you guys made. I had spoken with Valerie Fell, who is our band teacher and music teacher full-time here this year at the school. So she told me there are 63 beginner band members, students in grades 3, 4, and 5 during school. That's 63 kids. And then she still has a beginner strings class during Carline with 21 students. And then she has advanced band, 13 students, and she has advanced string, 12 students. So this is one woman doing all of that. And that is incredible. We didn't have any of that last year. I mean, I think she started with, actually last spring, I guess she did start with some strings because I did come to a little concert here at the school. But I mean, these are amazing numbers, and it's exhausting for her. So really, this volunteering to help in the classroom with her, you don't even have to have a musical ability. She just would really love the help, especially if your child is an instrument player, to come in during the day, speak with Valerie Fell and find out when she needs the help, an hour here or there. If we want this program to continue and grow larger, we unfortunately can't hire another full-time music teacher, a band person, and we can't clone Valerie. So we really need, as parents, to step up and help however we can and support Valerie. We would hate to have to reduce the number of kids that can take band next year because it's just too much. So Valerie asked to do this. Mrs. Cummins worked it into the schedule, but now it's becoming huge. So for everyone who is not here, who reads these minutes or watches the video, we really do need extra help with that. I also wanted to note that Mr. Kenny told me that he is doing guitar, and I knew he was doing it, but I asked him how often. He's got 10 students one time a week that they come in for guitar lessons with him. He's adding a class, so he's going to be doing it 2 times a week, beginner and intermediate, and he's going to have 15 to 20 kids, and he's really excited about that, so I thought that was kind of cool. I also wanted to point out our library volunteers, and Mrs. Library herself is here tonight, Stephanie Kaufman. And there are 14 active volunteers right now that are in 4.5 days a week that are providing library services to our kids. That we didn't have that last year either. And that's huge too. I mean, we had a library, but no people to staff it. Did you want to add, Stephanie?
I think we're gonna be able to do 5 days a week. And
Great.
we are actively operating like a regular library with requests and holds. And currently, we are able to fulfill about 52% of the requests that the kids ask for, based on all our books being just donated. And I spent time over the weekend looking over Mrs. Trannell's reading list for summer per grade. And overall, we have about the same percentage of the books she recommends 1st through 8th grade to read, about 50-some% in our library right now, based on donations.
Okay, great. And I know you did ask for a library budget, and I think we're going to put that on our agenda item for the business board meeting. I don't see that that's going to be a big problem. I mean, you're not asking for millions of dollars. It doesn't really take that much, but it goes a long way. And the things that you're asking for, you know, with laminating and, you know,
Barcodes.
yeah, things to, you know, keep the books in good shape. But again, donations to the library, I'm sure, are always accepted as well. So that's something to remember. Also, social committee, I just realized it when I saw Nancy come in. Nancy doing great things. You've got a lot of great things in the cooker, social committee-wise. So we're looking forward to that. I know we're talking about a Scholastic Book Fair coming up. We've got the trunk or treat. We're talking about a Christmas type of shopping thing. There's all kinds of fun things going on. And I know that one of the comments that a teacher made when we had our board and staff meeting last week is they just want to see more community things with the students and the teachers, building that sense of community. And, you know, we're fitting the bill. Nancy's already had a couple things happen already. We've had dinner night out, picnic out in the park. You know, I think we're off to a great start. Which leads me into that board and staff meeting. We did have one last week. The entire staff was there. Most of the board was able to be there. And there was just a great exchange of what's working well at FCCS, what needs some help. It was a really great meeting. It was great to see each other face to face. It went very well. It was very positive. You know, there's room for improvements, and that's what we're here to do, is to talk about them and get them out in the open, and to be proactive and work together. So that was great. And then there was a meeting afterwards with our math staff and our board. and we talked about some of the challenges that they have with math. And we'll talk about our math specialist. That's our next item on the agenda. But if there's anything else that anybody wanted to add about great things happening, even you guys out in the audience, you know, all 8 of you, if you have anything to add about great things. I know fundraising, Lancey's got, you know, great things happening there. We actually do have Race for Education later on in the agenda. You can turn that over.
Tuesday mornings for math counts is the easiest day to get my kid here, and she has to be here at 7:30 in the morning. So I'm very thankful for Mr. Diaz and
Okay, Mr.
Clue for
Diaz.
taking care of math counts.
That's great.
Bring the calculator, she needs one.
She's got one in her backpack.
Some of the kids do not have it, and that just, you know.
Think about it, too, is the first 3 sessions, she got 0 problems right, and she still wants to come back. And I'm like,
It's good. He's done this for 30 years in FCPS, he's done it in private schools. He loves math and he gets the kids. And he doesn't mess
If
around.
a child doesn't even get the answers right and she still wants to come,
Exactly.
that's pretty good.
Those questions are hard, they're not like, it's not like 2 plus 1.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah. Maybe I should go learn something.
We could all learn something from Nick.
Well, thank you, Nick. Oh, Nancy.
I just want to
Oh,
share with
Nancy.
everyone. I just want to share with everyone that we've been getting great feedback from our community for the trunk and treat. We have Kid Karate coming, where Rogers has donated coins, free ice cream coins. We have Pump It Up coming. We have a dealership who's donated a trunk. I'm waiting on Mama Lucia's. They might be coming out. So we're getting a lot from our community, which is really nice just to see everyone, you know, be willing to come out and help us out, and just even for fun.
That's great,
So,
Nancy.
it's gonna be
That's-
awesome.
That's how we increase our numbers too at the school, and our interest is by getting out in the community. So you're
Yeah.
doing a huge,
So we're gonna do a lot of things.
Well, trunk or treat this year has been like a little bit more of a challenge for her because with our new parameters that you have to work in, no real treats.
Yeah.
So there's only so many pencils that you can
Yeah.
hand out, and so Nancy really went like way beyond to think outside the box and get all these other people involved because we didn't. I thought it went great last year, but we didn't have that kind of support. It was families that did their trucks, gave out their treats.
Yeah,
So
this-
I think
this
it's
is
awesome
ideal,
that we have
actually.
So much community behind
Well,
us.
it's
and
hard
great.
because obviously y'all would just be candy. So it's so much easier, but now they have to get a little bit more creative. I've kind of reached out a little bit. We've gotten great response back.
well, that's
So-
good, because, you know, from that difficulty of not being able to just throw candy at the kids, you know, you've kind of went down and opened up a whole new, like you said, thinking outside the box and, you know, tapping into opportunities and relationships that maybe you wouldn't have had, so that's.
So let's just hope that I pull it off correctly.
Kids love it, they're getting free stuff. Okay, the next item is the math specialist position. And just a little background about this. A math specialist would be a hire, somebody that came in who would be there not only to assist the kids that are needing some extra help in math or enrichment in math, but also being there to provide some support, guidance, instruction, direction for the teachers as well. Because the staff didn't all come in here experts in Singapore math. So ideally, this person would have a good handle on Singapore math, a good handle on how to differentiate their lessons, teach that to our teachers, and support them with ideas of how they can reach the students. But at the same time, working with the students as well that need the extra help or the enrichment. So this position, the board did approve to fund. Unfortunately, with Mrs. Cummins going on maternity leave earlier than we planned, we had to budget for more time off for her, or budget for having Mr. DeGrange having an acting head of school come in earlier than we planned. And we love having him here, it's worth every dime. But we did have to kind of relook at our budget, because the last thing we want to do is overextend. So we kind of held back on hiring a math specialist position early in the year. We've spoken with our math teachers, our math department chair and our math staff. Just the feedback that we're getting and the knowledge that, you know, we really do we have some needs with these students we do need to address. So it's clear that we need this math position hired. What we're looking at is a 0.4, 0.5. I would love to have it full-time, but this is what we can afford. We spoke with our finance guy here, Mr. Summers, and, he's kind of given us some guidance. It's going to be a little tight, it's a little scary, but we do need the position. So we are going to post for it. We spoke with Dr. Harris from FCPS. It is, I believe it's probably posted now. I haven't found out for sure, but the hope is that we find a qualified individual who knows Singapore. That would be great. And we're going to start interviewing as soon as we get some interested candidates. So it would be great if we can get somebody on board, within the next few weeks or month. We also do have some professional development that we're in the works with a woman who is a Singapore math, kind of a teacher specialist. She comes from a private school in Pennsylvania, and she's provided professional development for our teachers in the past. They really like her. She's going to provide at least a couple days worth again. So we're in the works of getting a couple dates on the calendar with her. Good things are happening in that direction. It's just, it has taken a little while, but our math staff is really excited about, getting some Singapore people here and getting this specialist hired and on board. So we'll keep our fingers crossed that we get some good candidates to hire. So that's where we're with that.
The staff felt really good about Friday's professional development with Dr. Perrin and I guess Mrs. Hodge.
Yeah.
They were very appreciative and felt it was a great session.
Good.
So,
Have you gotten any word back with Dawn Schwartz regarding any dates?
no, I'll redo that tomorrow.
Okay.
I did ask for the contract, the memo of understanding. Dr. Perrin gave me the email address of the secretary, and I emailed her today
Okay.
just to see how many days we still had in the original contract. He said, don't worry if we don't quite make the original memo of understanding. He understands that was a work in progress. If we need more, that's not a problem either.
Okay.
So he said he was comfortable with the understanding that you did have with him.
Okay. All right. Club policy and liaison discussion. So, I'm not really, I can't really recall what prompted this to be on the agenda. Somebody want to refresh my memory? Oh,
I
thank
asked
you.
you if you wanted everybody, and you said, no.
The club waiting list, so that's really what prompted it.
Yes.
So American Sign Language, I understand there was a lottery held because there's a lot of more interest than we have slots available for the kids. And it was brought to our attention by a parent whose child didn't get in the first year, and she didn't get in again this year. It was all based on lottery, and meanwhile she's got a friend who's been in both years. So it did kind of prompt us to take a look at the policy again, which that's what Tara had given out. And it does state in the policy about having a lottery in cases like that as an option. You could either limit the size of the club, you can hold the club on different days of the week to accommodate all the kids that want to take it. But then, of course, you have to have a teacher who will be there and be able to accommodate the kids. So, I'm not thrilled about this lottery idea, to be quite honest. I think that if we can modify this, if you were in this lottery and you got in the first year, I would say, okay, these were the kids on the waiting list. My thought is that the next year or the next session, all those kids on the waiting list, if they're still interested, they should just be put in and maybe lottery the other kids that already had a chance. I mean, I know that would be a change of what the policy states, but I had a chance to think about it, and, a lottery it's a lottery, but, these kids already come to our school, they want to do this club, they didn't do it now, so they should be allowed to do it in the next opportunity.
My thought would be, because in my case, we didn't get it last year, we got it this year. But my question was, is it supposed to be geared where it's supposed to get harder as it goes along? Because in that case, the kids that were in it last year and are in it now again this year, are they repeating everything? And if they're repeating everything, then yeah, then why would you just be doing the same thing?
Exactly.
if it's supposed to progressively get harder, then to me, it almost has to be like, if you're in, just like the school, and until there's an opening, you don't get out yet, because I
What
don't know.
about, they do it multiple days a week. I know Jennifer, who runs it, who came up with the idea, and she's like taking college courses to figure out how to teach it. She's not a teacher, like, she really wanted to have this, and it was put to her last year, like, if you want it, you gotta do it. So she did, and she got this book. She's like, I used to have conversations with her last year. She's like, this is getting a little tough. She's like, so now I'm taking a course. She's showing me a book. We're at the skating rink, and she's like doing this work. So she really worked, but she needed, I remember last year she was saying she wasn't sure about this year because she really needed some help. So I hope she got that help because it's better, and so I'm guessing she did. But if they have multiple days, then to me it seems like you have the one day maybe for this club, because this one, it's sign language. So you would hope that they can continue and go and not just be an introductory and then end. So maybe the one day a week would be something that was like growing, then the other day could be used for new. So it would be like an introduction course on Monday, and then Wednesday the repeating or whatever the days are.
Yeah, well,
So maybe
that's-
something like that would bring in the new people and continue with the people that were in. Because I think that if my son was in it and he did 1 year, I would think he would want to continue. So I would hate for him to then have to not be able to be in the club
Yeah.
anymore.
Well, how many kids are in this club?
But it's 2 days by age. It's like
Oh,
eighth
okay,
or
so
second
it's by
and third
age.
through eighth or whatever, yeah. So Tuesday's the younger and Wednesday's the older, so that's how she has it broken.
I'm wondering if she should break it down to Monday is the beginner
Yeah.
class and Wednesday is the class that you take after you've taken the beginner class,
That's what I
regardless
think.
of your age.
Because
But that's easier said than done.
That number of kids and
Yeah.
help.
Yeah.
But there's a cutoff anyway, right? There's an age, I mean, a limit, amount.
Oh, yeah.
So that's where we're at.
Right. But
So
I would
also would
agree
limit
with that, because I can't imagine, especially if what Tara's saying regarding her abilities, like she just wanted to offer it, but she's not teaching advanced sign language to the older ones. You know what I mean? Yes, they may move a little bit faster than the little ones, but, you know, a
They're only going up to
kindergartner
their
is gonna learn the same, I mean, to me, a kindergartner is gonna learn the same as an eighth grader when you're saying no or yes. I mean, it just may take them a little longer to recall it. But in the scheme of things, I mean, just to kind of get an introduction to it.
The little kids might pick it up faster.
Because they might go practice with their homework, that's what Sammy does.
So maybe we should, it's Jennifer? Maybe we should just ask Jennifer if she has any suggestions about how we can, improve it, or, I don't want to make it sound like she's not doing a good job.
Right.
Or
Yeah,
just
just
have
figure
assist.
out find
help her.
additional resources for her, because we have the only state school in Frederick. And we can get some, hopefully ask if there's some additional resources available, because there's nothing better than having a come straight from the professionals, and them get involved in personal career.
Then maybe we need to look at the policy also to have maybe a two-tier system, where if you're having an extra equipment, you want to start a club, the 2 tiers of tracks you can go on one, where it progressively moves forward, so if you're in, you're in, you're in, you're in, which would give that person, let's say if you're doing engineering, you don't want to go back to mainstream, you're starting from scratch again, because you have a new set of kids, and this you can't get beyond point 3. And the second track would be, this is just an introduction of our, you're getting a taste of this, whatever. So it's just, well, it's always an introduction, always an introduction. You can find it outside of FCCS if you want.
Yeah, that's a good idea, because I'm sure there's other clubs too that, maybe Lego has that too.
Yeah, they do. Well, the younger ones is 6 weeks, like they're doing that snapology now, so it is a set 6-week interval, I guess. But then I would agree, the older grades are gonna want, but I think they can organize that by team. Those that have continued on and are getting progressively better, they can move on to a specific team to figure that out, I would say.
Yeah, but it's something like sign language, or maybe if it was like a knitting club or something like that, you've got your introduction, you're very basic, and then you've mastered that skill, and you're moving on. So there really should be something in the policy that talks about, you want to do a club, is this going to be a one-shot? I'm just gonna do this spring, it's just gonna be, you know, if it's in the sign language, just last spring, it was gonna last for 8 weeks, and then it was done and over? Or is this gonna be a club that's recurring, in which case it lends itself to different levels? So we should probably take a look maybe at revising or amending, I guess, that part of the club policy. And then also somebody from the board can just kind of get with Jennifer and see how we might be able to address this. So that, you know, the kids that were on the waiting list and are on the waiting list again, I don't like that. That's like, it just doesn't seem fair. You can't get in. So, you know, anybody want to contact Jennifer about that?
Somebody has a number, retired number, remember it, but I'm working on it. Well, I'm sure that I can get it out of the directory as well.
Yeah.
But I just need her to be, I want for your answer.
It's Jennifer West, right?
Okay.
Last year retired doctors.
Yeah, but the school for the deaf, like you said, it's right there in
It's the only
downtown.
state school we have right here in Frederick. It's a big opportunity, and I'm sure that they have people excited about sharing the skill.
Sure.
Well, I think we also have to be cognizant, or careful with that, in that, like Dr. Harris was saying the other day, that when we bring in outside personnel, once they interact with students, now FCPS policies kick into play with their interaction with children who are under a certain age. So you have to be cognizant that you don't want to trip ourselves up and get to a problem where we now have adults outside of the system interacting with kids. And then, because anything goes off anywhere, that could close the doors, you know?
Yeah, but for volunteers, the Carroll Creek Rotary Club, Counseling and Elementary, and all of those people are vetted in the way appropriate to work with the students. So pretty much any community member, as long as we go through a vetting process and make it consistent, and they sign a confidentiality agreement, HIPAA guidelines are complied with, we're good.
Okay. Okay, and a liaison. Somebody mentioned about liaisons to the committees, and I thought it would be, what did it say here? A board member being assigned as a club liaison. I mean, that's fine. I think if it's a board member would like to be a liaison to a club. I know Tom was very involved with the Lego club, so that was like a natural relationship. Also, a staff member could be a liaison to a club. I'm sure it's a good way for staff and kids to interact outside of school, outside of academics. So, you know, I mean, I don't know, Mr. Bickle, if you have anything to add to that, or you think?
I mean, I think something that would be great is to open it up to any volunteers or even staff members that want to open up a club.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of staff members that wouldn't even know where to start necessarily. They might have an idea, they want to start something, they don't know who to talk to, they don't know how to get the ball rolling, or it might just be too much work to get it started on their own.
Right.
So I think that it would be a good idea to reach out to staff members and any parents or volunteers that have an interest in something that they think they can create a club for. So maybe if we can't change much of the sign language club group, maybe there's another club we can offer that those kids might want to go to, or maybe some of those kids from sign language would prefer to go to. So at least they have something.
Yeah, right.
I think that's another option as well.
Do you think that staff does, I mean, Mr. Kenny started with the guitar thing, so, I mean, there is the knowledge that they can do that, so maybe we just need to reiterate that to the staff, or?
I think so, and I think something should be sent to them that, that says, hey, if you have an interest in doing this, this is how you do it.
Okay.
I mean, I think most of the staff knows, we could talk to Mr. Kenny and ask him how he got it started.
Okay.
But I think
something
that,
from the board to the staff, you think
Yeah,
would be helpful?
yeah,
We can do that.
and there may be a lot of response to do it, there may not be any, I'm not
Right,
sure, but
right.
probably be good to do.
Yeah. I think a drama club would be really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
For
would-
the upper grades, I have an idea about that.
I have a second grader that can be.
Well, I have second graders in school. We should have the second graders take on the eighth graders. See where that goes. The second graders would win, like, where you down.
All right, that sounds good. All right, I'm going to hand the next one over to Michelle. The library media sources FCPS has for FCCS.
I was at the back to school night, and this is just, if you go to any FCPS website,
actually in their budget.
So it's just a matter of us having that on our website and like,
Yes.
and the links?
Yeah.
You
Well,
have to
and
have
so
official
it's something that
password.
we would have to, Mr. DeGrange, as our acting head of school, would actually need to contact Mary Jo Richmond and talk to her about that and get it set up. And it's a little bit how to get our webmaster to, figure out how to get that put on the website. But if that's something that we're interested in, it's out there. It doesn't cost us anything. There's actually a couple books that are online that were donated just to our school, so I thought that was kind of cool, but we're not accessing them.
So when you click on this, what do you have access to, like books online, you're saying?
There's different books online, there's different resources,
Yeah,
like
there's
Brain
different-
Pop and,
Yeah, there's different links to,
Discovery
like,
education.
like math programs and things like that. The kids can,
Like games, the kids
Games
can
and
play,
practice
educational games?
activities and a whole bunch of different things.
Oh, okay.
My grandkids at Myersville, when they come over to the house, they just go up and hit Myersville link and go to,
You know it's safe.
and yes.
yeah, and it's.
Research options too, culturegrams, Encyclopedia Britannica,
Oh,
there's
good.
lots of research
Yeah.
options.
Yeah, and it wouldn't be necessarily every single one, she couldn't guarantee me everyone, she said that if you called her, they could go through and tell you which ones, it was a majority of them.
I'll do it tomorrow.
Good, I like that. That's a great idea.
So that was my back to school night.
All right, sounds good.
Mr.
Grange,
Grange,
you're gonna
he's on it. I don't get anything.
You're gonna contact Mary Jo, somebody or other?
Richmond, yeah, I know Mary Jo very well.
He does everything.
All right, collaboration with other FCPS charter schools.
Oh, that's me too.
It's another Michelle.
So, I just would like to, do we want to work with the other charter schools? I mean, I think that
Well,
there's.
we've always kind of extended the olive branch out, and, we're just, there's no reason to stop doing that.
I just wonder if there's some other, like, in the past, it's been charter law, which didn't really go over very well. So like, if there's something, I mean, there are different things that we do, like our media specialist, well, that might be one. But, even a math specialist, they used to have a math specialist, they don't have that anymore. Maybe moving forward, we could offer that as a full-time position, opposed to be going to school.
So you're saying like share personnel
Potentially,
between
I
our
mean-
school and their school?
Or if there's different things that we would like, that you all advocated to get the money, that we would ultimately, yes, we have that. And now, Montessori has that option. But there might be other opportunities that we want, that the other schools do want as well, and we can work together. I think that it would be nice if we tried to, yes.
No, I mean, I've listened to it. I'm going to comment, perhaps we can use it as a social engagement opportunity also, in terms of just challenging another school to a softball game or something. Get the kids, because that's something that was brought up in the faculty meeting, in that would be a way for us to socially connect, and the teachers then now make a connection, they can on their own start interacting. Once you get a social relationship, it can go deeper over time. And it's free, it's fun, it's easy, you just come and bring kids, and kids can, from both schools, can come and watch. And what it does, it creates that interlace between the two schools and the kids and the families, who can then say, hey, we got some things that you're offering, we don't offer here. And then we start the conversation, and then it goes from there.
Yeah,
You could start even as a social event.
yeah, so I guess that's my question. If we want this to happen, how do we want to make it happen?
Right.
That's brainstorm and come up with some ideas.
There is a school choice fair every January, I believe it is, in the FSK Mall. I've been to it every year. We're there every year. I think the Montessori's show it as well.
Yeah.
I mean, that could be kind of a springboard, to just, we'll both be there kind of a thing. And we can think about, how we can maybe tie into something with that. It would be good. Yeah. All right, the next on the list is the Race for Education fundraiser and volunteerism opportunities. So I'm just going to say briefly, the packets went home for Race for Education. We raised a lot of money last year for the school, for basically the mats in the gymnasium, the flooring in the gymnasium. It would be great to get that kind of participation again, and Lancy Cohen has been working really hard to try to get the word out, and it's been a little sluggish, So we've extended the deadline for turning in labels and things, and we're trying to get a lot of communication out. It is a great way to make some money for the school, and what's nice is that specifically it is laid out in the letter where this money is going to go, and it does go there, and we do need it. So I'll let Lancy, if you have something to say about
So,
it.
did you not get your packet? So I'm looking at
Yes, I did.
aerospace.
You remember last year?
So
I'm
this-
like, remember how many I sent in last year? No, I have not.
So maybe, Mr. Bickle, could you just remind the teachers if anybody didn't distribute them? We extended the deadline to this Friday. The other thing is, so we're gonna pass out some flyers in Carlin on, it looks like we're gonna do it Thursday morning, to remind people. And also, we can remind people that there's a way to do it electronically this year. So I have a flyer that I can email people and they can email it out instead of us mailing. It'll save us postage. That's a new thing, so we'll see how that goes. We have gotten a handful of label sets, and we've gotten a handful of checks already. And Tim, my husband picked up what he thought was packets, but there were checks in there. So I'll bring them back to the school tomorrow and leave them for you. I'll do that in the morning. I think it's just a couple so far. But, and we're also gonna do, Nancy and I are working to collaborate on a few things. We're gonna do a holiday shop this fall, so we're working on that. I found a company, I've gotta talk to them, make sure all of it's no risk, no financial risk to us. We can send everything back if it doesn't work. And I also, at our fundraising email address, have gotten some inquiries from people who want the Save Around books. So I went ahead and ordered those, and we can distribute them. People who want to do it can do it. Again, there's no financial risk to the school. And we can have them to sell. They should be here Wednesday. I'll send an email so everybody knows. We'll have them at the Race for Education. We can have them at the holiday shop, which we had talked
It's a
about.
great Christmas gift for those
And
people who don't know what to buy.
One thing I wanted to ask, and we can talk about this later, is we could earmark the coupon books to go to the library, the funds, or also, I heard if you'd like. And I
That
also,
would be great.
and I also
I
heard
have my
that,
list already started.
that Ms. Fell needs soundproofing for the music room. So is that something else? Could we do those two things as for the coupon books? Okay. Does that work for everybody?
We know what kind of sound, well, we'll get into the sound.
We can talk about how much it would cost.